This is Delta 3 requesting backup at Unit 27. We're breaching the defensive area. I repeat, Delta 3 requesting backup at Unit 27.
There are reports coming in from the United States about strange unidentified organisms spreading around like wildfire that have reportedly already killed millions of people despite only having appeared just yesterday.
According to the United States National Guard, they have just recently launched an operation in which they used saturation bombing against the organisms all throughout the United States. They say that if the operation turns out successful, then they will send military task forces to eradicate any isolated organisms, and if it didn't, then they might have to take, quote, more desperate measures.
Ted, what are you doing?
I was trying to get these Skittles, but I got stuck.
Maybe I should try.
I say go for it. If you get stuck, I'll help you get down. Moments later, I did help Billy get those Skittles, which sparked a lifelong friendship.
No way!
Sharing special surprises.
Matching motorcycles?
2 bikes for 2 bros. Magical memories. So I got 8 legs, and I'm not a spider.
Yeah.
If it says spider, I swear. And endless laughter. So I was like, arrest me then. I'm just kidding. I ate the kid.
This message was transmitted at the request of the Tarrant County Police Department. There has been a sudden spike in missing persons reports filed in the Tarrant County Police Department within the last 24 hours. There are currently no suspects, and investigations are being carried out to figure out how and why this is happening. A full list of the missing people can be found on www.dps.texas.gov/mpch. In the case you come across or see any of the missing people, immediately contact 911 but do not approach them. The reason as to why these people are missing and the individual or individuals responsible for their disappearances have still not been found, so it is assumed these people are currently in a dangerous situation. Again, if you come across or see any of the missing people, contact 911 and do not approach them.
Ahora que estamos solos, voy a aprovechar para que hablemos de tu problema.
¿Cuál problema? Yo no tengo problemas.
Claro que los tienes.
Yo no tengo nada que hablar contigo.
Pero yo sí. Tú no estás embarazada.
¡No digas estupideces! Yo estoy...
This message was transmitted at the request of the Tarrant County Police Department. Due to the sudden spike in recent missing persons reports filed within the Tarrant County Police Department, combined with the lack of any identifiable suspects, a mandatory curfew for Tarrant County, along with others surrounding counties, will be put into effect starting at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time and ending at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. police will begin patrolling the entirety of Tarrant County and other surrounding counties, and residents are urged to go home as soon as possible or when told to do so by civil authorities, as it will be illegal to be outside after the curfew has begun. Anyone caught outside will be arrested and questioned. Homeless people and people unable to get home will be properly taken care of. Again, there will be a mandatory curfew for Tarrant County and other surrounding counties beginning at 5 p.m. and ending at 8 a.m. Nobody is allowed outside during the curfew, and anybody caught outside will be arrested and questioned. This message was transmitted at the request of the Tarrant County Police Department. Go indoors immediately, lock all of your doors and windows, and remain indoors. Dozens of reports have come in regarding strange organisms attacking residents throughout Tarrant County and surrounding areas. These organisms vary in size and appearance, but generally, they are humanoid in shape, range from 8 to 13 feet tall, have pale white skin, long arms with sharp claws, and have large jaws full of jagged teeth. These organisms are extremely hostile, as they have been shown to kill anything on sight. Try your best to stay undetected, as the full capabilities of these organisms have yet to be seen. In order to try and stay undetected, turn off any and all electronics or anything else that emits sound, light, or heat. Go into the most interior room or lowest floor of a sturdy building, and stay as quiet as you possibly can. In the case one of these creatures breaks into your shelter or you come face to face with the organisms in any other way, use any means necessary to protect you and your loved ones. Civil authorities are currently trying to deal with the situation, but if mitigation of this situation by civil authorities fail, the National Guard will come in order to help residents evacuate the area and exterminate the This message was transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the United States government. The organisms had spread into multiple states across the United States. These states include, but are not limited to, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, New Mexico, Mississippi, Arizona, Alabama, California, Georgia, Nevada, Florida, Utah, South Carolina, and Tennessee. There is no official death toll, but it is estimated it is in the tens of thousands, but this is subject to change. In other information, more is now known about the abilities of these organisms. These organisms have displayed immense strength, incredible speed, high durability, and a keen sense of hearing and smell, allowing these creatures to break into shelters and killing even more people. Due to this, along with civil authorities failing to mitigate the situation, the National Guard has been brought in to evacuate civilians and terminate the organisms in order to prevent any further civilian casualties. All the previous instructions still apply. Turn off any and all devices or items capable of emitting any kind of light, heat, or sound. Go into the most interior room or lowest floor of a sturdy building and stay as quiet as you possibly can until the National Guard comes to assist you. In the case one of the organisms break into your home, try your best to stay undetected. If one of the organisms detect you, death is almost certain, as these organisms cannot be taken down with any easily accessible conventional weaponry, such as most blades or most firearms. Flamethrowers have been found to be the most effective weapons against these organisms. However, flamethrowers have only been effective in deterring and warding off the organisms, with only mid-success, so avoidance of any confrontations with the organisms is paramount. I repeat, avoidance of any confrontations with the organisms is paramount. This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. The organisms, now dubbed prowlers, have spread all across the continental United States, with the exception of Alaska. There is no official death toll, but it is estimated to already be in the millions. The National Guard is currently exhausting its resources into evacuating civilians and extinguishing the prowlers. All the previous instructions and information still apply. Turn off any and all devices or items capable of emitting any light, heat, or sounds. Stay as quiet as you possibly can, and hide in the most interior room or lowest floor of a sturdy building, and wait for the National Guard to come and assist you. If a prowler breaks into your home or shelter, try your best to stay undetected. If one of the prowlers detect you, death is almost certain, as the prowlers cannot be taken down with any easily accessible conventional weaponry, such as most firearms, most bladed weapons, or machine-powered weapons such as chainsaws. Flamethrowers seem to be the most effective weapons against prowlers. However, flamethrowers have only been effective in deterring or warding off the prowlers, with only mid-success. So avoiding any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. I repeat, avoidance of any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. The President of the United States and his representative are currently being transported to a safe and undisclosed location, and will be speaking on all stations in 10 hours from now.
event type is civil danger warning. This message was transmitted at the request of the Canadian government. The situation involving strange organisms attacking the United States, now dubbed prowlers, has spread into Canada. Military forces are already on their way to evacuate civilians and extinguish the prowlers in order to prevent any more civilian deaths. So far, there is no official death toll, but it is estimated to be in the thousands. It is crucial for you to follow these instructions, as they could potentially save your life. Turn off any and all devices or items capable of emitting any light, heat, or sounds. Stay as quiet as you possibly can, and hide in the most interior room or lowest floor of a sturdy building, and wait for the military forces to come and assist you. If a prowler breaks into your home or shelter, try your best to stay undetected. If one of the prowlers detect you, death is almost certain, as the prowlers cannot be taken down with any easily accessible conventional weaponry, such as most firearms, most bladed weapons, or machine-powered weapons such as chainsaws. Flamethrowers seem to be the most effective weapons against prowlers. However, flamethrowers have only been effective in deterring or warding off the prowlers, with only mid-success. So avoiding any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. I repeat, avoidance of any confrontations with prowlers is paramount.
Le type d'événement est un avertissement de danger civil. Ce message a été transmis à la demande du gouvernement canadien. La situation impliquant des organismes étranges attaquant les États-Unis, maintenant surnommés les rôdeurs, s'est propagée au Canada. Les forces militaires sont déjà en route pour évacuer les civils et éteindre les rôdeurs afin d'éviter d'autres morts parmi les civils. Jusqu'à présent, il n'y a pas de bilan officiel, mais on estime qu'il se compte par milliers. Il est essentiel que vous suiviez ces instructions, car elles pourraient potentiellement vous sauver la vie. Éteignez tous les appareils ou éléments capables d'émettre de la lumière, de la chaleur ou des sons. Restez aussi silencieux que possible et cachez-vous dans la pièce la plus intérieure ou dans l'étage le plus bas d'un bâtiment robuste, et attendez que les forces militaires viennent vous aider. Si un rôdeur s'introduit dans votre maison ou votre abri, faites de votre mieux pour ne pas être détecté. Si l'un des rôdeurs vous détecte, la mort est presque certaine, car les rôdeurs ne peuvent être abattus avec aucune arme conventionnelle facilement accessible, telle que la plupart des armes à feu, la plupart des armes blanches ou des armes à moteur telles que des tronçonneuses. Les lance-flammes semblent être les armes les plus efficaces contre les rôdeurs. Cependant, les lance-flammes n'ont été efficaces que pour dissuader ou repousser les rôdeurs, avec seulement un succès moyen. Donc éviter toute confrontation avec les rôdeurs est primordial. Je le répète, évitez toute confrontation avec les rôdeurs.
This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. The President of the United States will now be speaking on all stations across the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable President will now be speaking.
My fellow Americans, this is one of the darkest times in the history of the United States. These creatures, these monsters, these things, they've suddenly popped out from nowhere yesterday, and millions are already dead. These creatures kill anything that they see drawing breath, and nothing has been able to stop their rampage so far. Military forces have been exhausted in an attempt to kill these things and avenge those who had their lives swiftly taken from them by these soulless monsters. Despite our best efforts, our military was unable to successfully fight off these things. Due to these circumstances, the use of saturation bombing has been approved and will be used all across the United States. If you are hearing this, seek an underground shelter now, and as much as I hate saying this, prepare to die. If you can't find shelter, don't die a slow and painful death to the hands of these horrid creatures. Don't die with misery and hatred within your heart and soul, but instead, die a quick and painless death with absolute dignity. If you wish to die on your own terms, suicide has been authorized. May God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. The nationwide saturation bombing operation has failed to eradicate the prowlers. However, a decent portion of the prowlers have appeared to have been successfully killed, as the number of prowlers throughout the United States has been reduced by 35 to 40%, due to the temporary decrease of prowlers throughout the continental United States. The National Guard and its resources will temporarily be focused on evacuation efforts to take advantage of the reduced risk of prowler attacks. However, if you haven't already been evacuated, it is recommended that any survivors hearing this broadcast are to stay put in their shelters, continue following the previously given instructions, and wait for the National Guard to come and provide assistance. As a reminder, turn off any and all devices capable of emitting any light, heat, or sounds. Stay as quiet as you possibly can, and hide in the most interior room, or lowest floor of a sturdy building, and wait for the National Guard to come and assist you. If a prowler breaks into your home or shelter, try your best to stay undetected. If one of the prowlers detect you, death is almost certain, as the prowlers cannot be taken down with any easily accessible conventional weaponry, such as most firearms, most bladed weapons, or machine-powered weapons such as chainsaws. Flamethrowers and other weapons that use heat seem to be the most effective weapons against prowlers. However, these kinds of weapons have only been effective in deterring or warding off the prowlers with only mid to low success, so avoiding any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. I repeat, avoidance of any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. The prowlers have infested all of Central and South America, with a few smaller countries in the continent already reporting to be nearing on the brink of collapse. In addition, reports from military forces have been coming in regarding physical changes in the prowlers. While the changes heavily vary in each individual, generally, these changes are presumed to have been developed as a countermeasure to military forces. As military forces are beginning to experience severe pushback from the prowlers, it is also presumed that these changes developed by the prowlers allow them access to regions outside of North and South America, as Navy forces from the U.S. and neighboring countries are spotting hordes of prowlers swimming or flying above the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, likely targeting the other continents. The United Nations will soon issue a warning to all countries across the globe to prepare for potential onslaughts of prowlers worldwide within the coming hours, due to the current circumstances regarding the changes the prowlers have undergone, posing a grave risk, as well as a general lack of progress in rescuing surviving citizens. Evacuation efforts throughout the continental United States will soon be stopped altogether to prevent any further unnecessary casualties. There are also reports coming in regarding strange lights appearing in skies all across the globe. However, it is currently unknown as to what is causing this, and investigations are being carried out to understand this abnormal activity. While evacuation efforts will soon cease, there will still be a few carried out in areas with fewer prowlers, so any survivors hearing this broadcast are recommended to stay put in their shelters, continue following the previously given instructions, and wait for the National Guard to come and provide assistance. As a reminder, turn off any and all devices capable of emitting any light, heat, or sounds. Stay as quiet as you possibly can, and hide in the most interior room or lowest floor of a sturdy building, and wait for the National Guard to come and assist you. If a prowler breaks into your home or shelter, try your best to stay undetected. If one of the prowlers detect you, death is almost certain, as the prowlers cannot be taken down with any easily accessible conventional weaponry, such as most firearms, most bladed weapons, or machine-powered weapons such as chainsaws. Flamethrowers and other weapons that use heat seem to be the most effective weapons against prowlers. However, these kinds of weapons have only been effective in deterring or warding off the prowlers with only mid to low success, so avoiding any confrontations with prowlers is paramount. I repeat, avoidance of any confrontations with prowlers is paramount.
Nigel Marvin, a time-traveling zoologist and a man who has had his fair share of close scrapes with dinosaurs. But the Earth has witnessed more terrible monsters than these. What Nigel is about to learn about prehistory is that no matter how bad things get on land, the one thing you should never ever do is...
This is an emergency broadcast from the BBC, being relayed to you by the Government of the United Kingdom. Please stand by and pay attention. This is an emergency broadcast from the BBC, being relayed to you by the Government of the United Kingdom. Please stand by and pay attention. This is an emergency broadcast from the BBC, being relayed to you by the Government of the United Kingdom. Please stand by and pay attention. The situation involving strange organisms, dubbed prowlers, attacking the United States and surrounding countries has severely escalated, reaching a point to where the United Nations has given a warning to all of Earth's countries to prepare for incoming prowler attacks, due to prowlers having begun spreading beyond North and South America, and likely heading for the other continents. Other nations all across the globe are already preparing to face the incoming onslaughts of prowlers with stationed military forces across all coasts and borders, including the United Kingdom. However, despite these preparations, evacuation efforts will be carried out by the Army Reserve to evacuate citizens in or near coastal areas to minimize potential deaths. Once you have received assistance from the Army Reserve, tie a piece of white clothing around your mailbox or any place outside your residence before evacuating to show you have been assisted. In addition to the incoming prowler attacks, there are reports of strange lights appearing in the sky all across Earth. It is unknown as to what is causing this, but investigations are being carried out to figure out the cause of this strange activity. That is all the information we currently have at the moment. This emergency broadcast will stay to keep you informed and updated if the situation further escalates.
This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. Reports from military forces have began coming in regarding more changes being cited in the prowlers, with the most notable change being size. The prowlers have reportedly changed from being an average height of between 6 to 12 feet tall to an average size of between 50 to 65 feet tall. In addition, military forces from North and South America have been severely exhausted and are beginning to experience severe pushback from the prowlers, as well as more smaller countries, and their governments having been reported to have collapsed, and the usage of nuclear weapons is currently undergoing consideration. Evacuation efforts in the continental United States have now been completely stopped. If you weren't assisted by the National Guard, it is now suggested you resort to suicide. The most effective method of suicide is taking a firearm of any kind, aiming the muzzle at the roof of your mouth, and pulling the...
The situation involving the strange organisms, dubbed prowlers, has further escalated. Prowlers are now reported to be larger than previously recorded, having changed to be an average size of between 50 to 65 feet tall, to an average of 100 to 130 feet tall, further increasing resistance to military forces, and causing a complete pushback from the prowlers, resulting in half of Europe, most of Africa, some of Asia, and all of Oceania having been overthrown and collapsed within the past few hours. Due to these circumstances, the use of nuclear weapons is currently under heavy consideration. In addition, evacuation efforts have now ceased operations. If you have not been evacuated by the Army Reserve, then we deeply apologize. Your best course of action now would be to find a fallout shelter, or commit.
Mr. President, it all comes down to this decision.
I don't know what to do. I'm president and all, but aside from my position of power, what makes me different from any other man on this planet?
Well, with all due respect and with sincere honesty, nothing. At least in the grand scheme of things, considering our current circumstances.
I want to give all of those innocent people out there, those suffering, amidst this chaos, a fighting chance. But both pathways deny them that. I really don't know what to do.
Mr. President, as much as it pains you and me to say this, we must leave those out there to fight for themselves, to preserve humanity and everything we have ever done. Well, I am not in your position. I will give you this. Allowing those monsters to remain alive will mean that we won't survive to pick up the pieces and start from scratch. And, well, sacrifices must be made.
Look, you're right. You're right. I'll write that. I'll give them the order to proceed. May God bless us all.
This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. The operation involving the bombardment of nuclear weapons against the prowlers has failed. The prowlers have grown to be resistant towards any kind of man-made weapons and can no longer be killed. In addition, a Christian organization called the Assemblies of God has just revealed disturbing information explaining everything that has happened regarding this situation. George Simmons, the General Treasurer for the General Council of the Assemblies of God, will soon make a public statement regarding this matter. Please stand by.
Hello. My name is George Simmons. I'm the General Treasurer for the General Council of the Assemblies of God. If it wasn't obvious already, our organization revolves mainly around Christianity, to put it broadly. To the average, everyday person, what is currently happening suddenly arose from out of nowhere, and nothing seems to connect or make sense, whether it be the prowlers, or the lights in the sky, or the strange TV hijacks and messages. But as horrific, surreal, and mysterious as this situation seems to be, we can say with 100% certainty that we know exactly what is happening. All of you hearing this will most likely be shocked at how immense the scale of the situation truly is. We at the Assemblies of God believe that what is happening right now is the event prophesied long, long ago to happen, known to all of those of the Christian faith as the rapture. Now, if you're Christian, you may be very shocked by our claim, as what you have seen the past day or so might not have been at all what you have thought what the rapture would have looked like. But we are indeed telling the truth. After seeing everything that has unfolded, we have made a horrific discovery. To put it in the most simple way I can, God has lied to us about everything humanity thought it has ever known regarding Christianity. There is no heaven, there is no hell, and there is no God. God was a lie made up by some unknown power that has been manipulating us since the dawn of man, manipulating us into thinking that he was our Lord and Savior, someone to follow, to cherish, to relish, to praise, and to worship. However, all of our prayers, our love, our commitment, all of that has instead been feeding whatever this thing is with power. We have been unintentionally making it stronger, and now we are seeing its true intentions being put into action. And the worst part about this, we can't do anything about it. Even if we somehow take down the prowlers, I sense something much more horrifying than the lights up in the skies. The prowlers are but pawns to whatever may be waiting above the clouds. Humanity is helpless. As much as I hate to say it, we're all doomed. There's nothing we can do now. It is only a matter of time before we all cease to exist and become one with it. My suggestion now: say goodbye to all of your loved ones and follow my lead.
This is Mitchell Harrison. I am, or more appropriately, I was your president. If you're watching this, I'm deeply sorry that I have failed you all. Though ultimately I was not in control of what was happening, I don't know if humanity will make it through this. While it's not impossible, our current circumstances show that the odds of our survival are astronomically small. It was nice leading such a beautiful country with beautiful people. This is Mitchell Harrison, signing out.
This message was transmitted at the request of the United States government. Nearly all countries on Earth and their military forces have collapsed. Most evacuation centers have been breached. There is nowhere to hide. It has become nearly impossible to survive in these circumstances. The extinction of the human race is certain. I repeat, the extinction of the human race is certain. Any surviving people are recommended to resort to suicide. The most effective method of suicide is by putting the muzzle of a loaded firearm on the roof of your mouth and pulling the trigger. We will cease transmission with the final playing of our national anthem. Thank you everyone for being a part of a great nation.